Hello, everyone, and welcome. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell so that you'll be notified when we upload videos like this. We actually upload videos on business and management, and we also upload videos on research and statistics. Now, in this particular video, I will be showing you how are you going to perform basic frequency distribution and basic descriptive statistics here on Excel, as well as percentage points in each of the frequency distribution. Now, what we're going to do is we're trying to perform these particular basic statistical methods in this data set. All right. This is math scores of a certain group of students. There are around 500 of this, right? Now, what we're going to do is to determine the frequency distribution of each of these scores based on a specific bin range. Now, this range simply means that how many are how many scores are equal or less than 10, equal or less than 20, but not less than 10, not equal, and so on and so forth, right? Now, this is the range that we'll be using as a benchmark in counting the distribution of each of these particular scores. Now, what we are going to do is go to data tab in your Excel and then select on data analysis. Now, if you don't have data analysis icon here, what you're going to do is go to file and then accounts, options. And then in options, you select add-ins and select analysis toolpak. And then select go, and you have to install the analysis toolpak, and then you're good to go. You should be able to see an icon, a data analysis icon here in data tab. Now click that, and of course you cannot find any frequency distribution here. And so what you're going to do is select on histogram. This is also where we will be uh, displaying a chart, all right, using this particular data as distributed in a specific range. Now, make sure that you select exactly all of the data that you want to count, because frequency is simply counting the frequency, how many times a specific score actually exists in a particular range. Now, the bin range, you also have to select the bin range, right? And then check on labels, because we actually include the labels. And then output range, you have to also select the output range, right? And then check on chart output, and then select, press OK. And there you go. You already have your frequency table and the histogram. By the way, this histogram, you can actually rename all of this. Let's say math score and so on. You can rename whatever you want to name this particular chart. You can change different styles of your chart, and then of course can delete some data so that it will not distort your histogram, right? Right, so this is your frequency table, and what we're going to do is just to uh, polish this one by of course adding some percentage count in each of the items. Of course, the total also here, it should add up to 500 because there are 500 entries in our data set. So just have to click on auto sum, and it will automatically select all of the frequency distribution and then select OK. I mean, press enter, and then it should have a total of 100. Now, we also have to provide a percentage point in each of the item out of 100. Now, what we are going to do is uh, press on equals and then open parentheses and then select the frequency, right, divided by the total. And then, of course, you should not forget to put the dollar sign here so that the selection will not move. And then the next thing is you have to close the parentheses and multiply it by 100. And that is your percentage point in this particular item. Now you just have to select the green square at the bottom of the cell, and then you can double click on this one, or you can hold on and drag down. But you can just double click, and then it will automatically present to you the percentage point in this specific distribution. Now you also have to create a total on this. It should have a total of 100, right? So we'll try to click on auto sum and then enter, meaning that each of the item represents a specific percentage points, which a total of 100. And this alone is a very useful table already, and you can use this one in the presentation of your data analysis in your research article, probably when you're writing your articles already. Now, the next thing that we will have to do is, let's say, for example, we just want to choose whether or not how many in this particular items are male and female, right? So what we're going to do is, there is also another way of counting the frequencies of specific items in Excel. And one of the example is the Countif formula. So equals Countif, and you have to provide the range. You have to select all the item, and then what is the criteria? What is the criteria that you want to count? Let's say I want to count 1. I have to close the parentheses and hit enter, meaning there are 265 females, because 1 is actually female, and male is just have to copy, I mean drag this one and edit some of the uh, data, right? 2, and we have to select 2 and then press enter, and there are 235 males, right? If you select auto sum, that should have a total of 500. This is also a way of counting here in Excel. So male is 265 and female is 235 with a total of 500. All right. Now By the way, this histogram, you can already use this one in your article writing. And last one in this particular example is I'll be showing you uh, how are you going to perform what they call as a basic descriptive statistics. All right. So click on data analysis, and then you have here uh, descriptive statistics. Select on descriptive statistics and press OK. And then the input range, you have to select all of the data that you want to perform a descriptive statistics, right? So there you go, it's already been selected, and you have to, of course, because we have selected the label, we have to check the label in first row. Then output range, we also have to determine the output range, probably here in this area. And then you have to check on summary statistics, right? And this is other things are optional, and then you have to click OK. And there you go. Here is your summary statistics, right? You have your mean, the standard error, the median, meaning the median is the middle count of all the scores. Then we have the mode, which is the most occurring score in the range of scores. Then we have the mean, and the standard deviation is 29, which means that our data is scattered, right? It's not closely clustered in the mean. It's quite far from the mean. There is at some point no unanimity in the results of our exam in this particular example, right? Now, how are we going to plot the standard deviation graph in Excel, right? How are we going to do this? First, of course, the very first thing that we have to do in plotting a standard deviation graph is for us to arrange the data in order, all right? So we have to arrange the data in order. You go to home and then sort smallest to highest, all right? Then what you're going to do is you have to type equals and normal distribution, and then X is simply the first item here, and then the mean, we have the mean here based on our descriptive statistics. And then we also have the standard deviation. And then cumulative, just select false. Close the parentheses, but of course, remember that you have to put the fixed value or the dollar sign in the input range. And then press on enter. And then of course you can just double click on that one and it will automatically perform the formula. Now what you're going to do is to select all of the items here, and then you go to charts, insert, and then charts, and then select this specific chart. And there you go. Here is your standard deviation. As we can observe in our standard deviation chart, that it is wider, meaning that the data that we have is actually scattered on a different points. It is quite widely distributed, and there is uh, quite a distant variance between the individual scores and the mean of this particular data set. And of course, you can also observe that one by looking at the scores. We have actually a lot of scores ranging from 1 to 10, and it is quite widely distributed until the 100 score, or score which is 100. If you already have all of these data result, you can begin interpreting the meaning of all of these data. And the interpretation depends on your problem and what you want to answer on your research problem, and this will help you explain your responses on your research problem. So the data is already here, and what you're going to do is to interpret it already. I hope that you learned something, and see you in the next video. Thank you very much.